Alright guys, well it's day one here in India. It's my first full day in India and this place is incredible to say the least. We're going to be kicking off this tour of Rajasthan here in Jaipur. And what do we have in store today, bro?
So we're going to be going on a week-long tour of Rajasthan. Rajasthan is one of the most colorful states in India. Rajasthan basically means land of the Rajas or land of the kings because there's a ton of different princely states or little kingdoms that make up this entire state. So as you may or may not know, I used to live in India 9 years ago now, and I came through Rajasthan when I finished my job. Hey, this is me. I want to show you my hotel here in Udaipur, where I am paying $2.50 a night. So check this out. I went to a lot of the places we're going to go and to the legendary Pushkar Camel Festival. So I'm super stoked to show this place to you and to all of you guys. We're going to be making an entire series about Rajasthan, the most colorful state in India.
We'll be visiting the three main cities in this series, starting here in Jaipur, the pink city, Udaipur, the white city, and Jodhpur, the blue city.
We're starting off here at the Amer Fort in Jaipur, so there's tons to explore. Let's get started. Let's go. Chalo.
We are posted up on the wall, just trying to get a nice establishing shot, but what a crazy place. There's so much happening. There's literally a procession of elephants carrying people up the ramparts and into the fortress. So apparently it's a thing here in India. People just like to take selfies with you. If you're from the West, then you're just a good person to take a selfie with. All right, well here we are at the top of Jaigarh Fort.
Exactly. Gar means fort, and Jai is named after Jai Singh, who was one of the Maharajas here. So a Maharaja is a Hindi word which means great king. And Rajasthan, land of the kings, because like this place, there's a dozen or so kingdoms that were all ruled independently for hundreds of years.
Nowadays, it's a great spot to kind of get some elevation and really take in the landscape, but it's incredible. There's these walls that are just hugging the hills, almost like a little miniature version of the Great Wall of China.
Well, it's true what you said about the Great Wall of China, because these walls, like the Great Wall of China, were built to keep out invading armies. You know, the Greeks came through here, Genghis Khan came through here, and the Mughals, which was a Muslim empire from Central Asia, they all passed through here and they were resisted on these very walls.
Pretty incredible place. So much history. Pretty interesting piece of information here. So back in the day when this was inhabited by the Rajas, when there were bad people, when they did something wrong, they would be taken here, and this little pit behind me used to be full of water, and in that water there were crocodiles. So in a very James Bond villain-esque move, they would throw the people who've been condemned to death into the crocodile pond. They didn't have tunas with laser beams, but they had crocodiles.
So this is an extremely well-designed fortress. You can see, like down here, these are for arrows. This right here is for burning hot oil, so you can pour it on anyone trying to climb up the fort. And then the big holes, those are for cannons, including the largest cannon on wheels in the world, which is just down here. So all of these fortresses, a lot of the buildings that we're going to see across this series in Rajasthan were built in like the 14 or 1500s. So this was a time when Europe was really just emerging from the Dark Ages, but here in India, these civilizations were reaching heights that were renowned around the world. So you know how you appreciate the world's largest cannon?
Oh.
Just look at those rims. The spinning, the spinning, the spinning.
They're not spinning though.
They're not spinning, but this thing is huge. Apparently when they shot it, it destroyed a town that it was aimed at, and the guy who shot it was so blasted back by the reverberations, they fell off the back to his death.
That is what we call blowback. Okay, well, there's been a minor car accident. Our driver accidentally smashed into a little wall. We are on foot in the town of Amer. This is like old, used to be old Jaipur, but now it's just kind of on the outskirts. It's like in the suburbs, really. So this is pretty awesome. Right now we are at a stepwell, and most of India is like tropical or subtropical, but up here in Rajasthan, we're on the edge of the Thar Desert, or the Great Indian Desert. It's 200,000 square kilometers, and in order to basically conserve the water that they get during the monsoon, they built these large stepwells. So at the bottom down there is water, and these were built, you know, a couple hundred years ago. But awesome place for photography, and it looks like some, you know, surreal kind of modern art.
So it's my first day back in India, and I'm falling in love all over again. You have to love this country. It's just got so much happening. There's people, there's smells, there's sounds. It never stops. And it's such a productive country. There's trees growing everywhere. There's monkeys, there's animals and cows wandering through the streets. It's a lot to take in on your first day, but if you can slow down and appreciate it, you can really, really fall in love with this place, as I have as well.
Okay, well, we've made it into the center of Jaipur. The madness continues, as always, here in India. But we are gonna go try to get one last VR shot for the day, and that is at a place called the Mahal, which is just really fun to say.
So basically, although it is chaotic, Jaipur is India's first planned city. It was built in the 1700s when they moved the city down here, and it's all set out in a grid formation. Each little rectangular block is a different sort of bazaar. So it's just a giant marketplace.
This guy is awesome.
So one of the best things about India is masala chai. Chai is a Hindi word for tea, and it's super awesome here. It's very sweet, it's spiced, and it's served right here on the street.
And you know what, Mark? It gives a whole new meaning to a dirty chai.
Oh, dude.
Because take a look at the place behind us. It's as authentic as it can get. It's chai, and it's dirty, and we're drinking it.
It's delicious. So the guy who sells it is called a chai wala, and here chai comes 5 rupees, which is just a couple of cents. It's amazing.
The elephant owner just got off and is literally grabbing a drink over here. But this big, beautiful elephant. Nice road. Okay, well, it's official. India is the coolest country on earth.
So this behind us is the Hawa Mahal. Mahal means palace in Hindi, and this translates to Palace of the Winds. So back in the day when the city was built, this was the women's section of the city, and this area right here was designed so that women could look out onto the street but not be seen. The Maharajas at that time were Hindu, but in that time Hindu women had to be covered from public view, so this was a way of doing that. It was painted pink, which is a symbol of hospitality here, in honor of the Prince of Wales, who was coming here to play polo with the Maharajas back in the day.
Oh my God. That was a wild day. First day in India. Madness. Beautiful, beautiful madness. And I can't wait for tomorrow.
I have to say, I'm kind of jealous. My first day in India, 2 weeks after graduating college, was the craziest experience of my life. I think that it's like, there's no amount of culture shock that amounts to your first day in India. It's uncomparable. I was a bit jealous that you're going through that today because I remember how much it changed me. I think that it's cliche to say that going to India changed your life, but this is just the first day of a whole multiple week trip.
I was really happy to have you as my India guide, bro, and just kind of being able to navigate the chaos that unfolds on the outside of this little sanctuary, our hotel. But it's been an incredible day, and I really cannot wait for more exploration tomorrow. Well, traveling in India is inherently chaotic, but the best way to get around all that chaos is a tuk-tuk. Hello! Good morning, Vagabuddies. Welcome back to Rajasthan. Right now we are in the city of Udaipur, known as the City of the Lakes, surrounded by lakes. And this morning we're starting things off with a little bit of chai from the chai wala here, and we have a very interesting day planned. I will let Marko bring you all up to speed.
I mean, I'd rather just let you guys see it as it unfolds. So we're gonna go, first things first, to the lake around which the entire city is built.
What's going on with this mustache?
Okay, the mustache. These guys are giving me shit for my mustache. The truth is that I first got... Excuse me. The truth is that I first grew a mustache when I was here 9 years ago in Rajasthan, and the locals told me I just had a little baby mustache, just like Alex's little baby wavy mustache, and I started pulling it. They're like, just pull the edges, and they showed me it will eventually curl into what it is now.
So Mark has been pulling himself for the last 10 years?
No, last 30.
And it looks like it's finally starting to get there.
You will see the transformation will be complete. As I continue on this journey through Rajasthan, I will become a Maharaja beard mustache man.
Well, the first destination of the day is the city palace here in Udaipur. Udaipur is known as the White City, as you can see. A lot of buildings are painted white. Like many other cities in Rajasthan, it was once ruled by its own Maharaja, the Maharaja of Udaipur. So this is his palace, and we are gonna go inside.
Honestly, this is like got some of the best souvenir shopping in all the world. The original bohemian style came from people who would travel to the east and bring back cool stuff. And this is literally like an emporium of awesome things. There's leather bags, there's like textiles, there's cool rugs.
It's really cool.
The mustache?
Yes.
See, some people appreciate the mustache down here.
Ladies and gentlemen, a monumental discovery has been made. I think I've finally solved the eternal question of what happened to Tupac Shakur. He is here, and there is proof. I figured it out. There he is. Tupac Shakur didn't go to Jamaica. He came here to Rajasthan, to India, to live out the rest of his days as a Raj, which is not a bad call.
So this is a cage to trap tigers and trap panthers in that one over there. All these gates are big enough to let an elephant pass through because historically elephants were like the tanks of Indian armies. They were heavy lifting materials, they could carry things, and they could ram doors. So you see the gates right here actually have spikes on them, which was a defensive measure to stop elephants from charging and hitting the gates with their heads. Now we're inside the City Palace complex at Udaipur. This is one of the most magnificent buildings in all of Rajasthan, and it is the largest palace in the state. It was the capital of the Mewar kingdom. If you remember, we said Rajasthan means land of the Rajas, land of the kings, because there were about a dozen independent kingdoms throughout this whole land, and this was one of them. The Mewars were a warrior tribe. They fought off foreign invaders, most notably in a battle with Akbar. Akbar was from the Mughal Empire, and they were invading from around Afghanistan area. This palace complex was built before that invasion because the local Maharaja had been walking through this area and found a hermit who suggested that he change his capital here. It's actually a really good defensive location because it's surrounded by mountains and it's right on this lake. So it made it hard for foreign invaders to come in. Although they did lose the battle with Akbar and became vassals of that empire and later the British.
Right now we're kind of like up at the top. This is where the Maharaja used to kind of hang out, take in the view. It's extremely crowded nowadays. This is a very popular tourist site here in Udaipur, but it's easy to see why.
So this is the peacock. This is the royal bird of Rajasthan, and you can see why. Because the Maharajas, they definitely peacocked with their style. They would go very, ostentatious and flagrant, and it's a really good style. But much like the peacock, they like to strut the stuff.
Something that continues to happen to us here in India, it's pretty funny. People would just walk up to you and ask for a selfie, or in our case, we were just sitting on the bench and they just sat down in between us and
they demanded
a photo. But then again, I think that Carlos brought up a good point that it's kind of like karma, because we travel around and take photos of people all the time, everywhere we go. So, it's only fair that...
What can we say no? I mean, we'd be...
No,
what are we?
We have to say yes. All right, you guys, it's lunchtime. We have some malai kofta, we got some chicken tikka masala, garlic naan, mixed veg, and...
Bindi.
Bindi.
Bindi is okra. Lady fingers.
You're eating lady fingers?
Yeah, bindi. I know all the Hindi I know is basically just a menu.
All right, you guys, we are in the middle of the VR shoot, and we've stumbled upon a cow in the middle of this alleyway. The local ladies are blessing it. They're giving it a puja, which is a prayer or a blessing, and Marko is feeding the cow.
I just gotta say, this whole trip is making me super nostalgic of being here 9 years ago. And it's like so different because when I came here, I had 1 month of time. I had just finished college. I just finished working for 4 months in Mumbai, and I had a month of free time just with no plans, and that is really the way to travel India.
I'm just blown away by how different these two places are. Like, this is my first time in India. This is like the 3rd day that I've been in India. My first experience was Jaipur, the capital of Rajasthan, which is much drier, it's bigger, it's louder, it's a little bit more chaotic, but coming to Udaipur was just such a surprise. It's lush and jungly, and there's this beautiful lake. There's multiple lakes in the region. If I had to choose between the two, Udaipur is the clear winner for me. Okay, well, next stop is this museum, Museum Bangor Ki Haveli. It's right next to the lake here in Udaipur, and there's going to be like a bunch of traditional dances and traditional music. and it should be pretty interesting. So let's go check it out. That's the end of the show. These are the very talented dancers. They did such an incredible job tonight. Thank you. Thank you. You want me to sit there?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's been an incredible day in Udaipur, just hanging with the dancers. You guys did such a great job. Thank you so much for the entertainment. Yeah. Well, that was an incredible way to finish an awesome day. Udaipur, by far my favorite place so far on this trip. So much to see, so little time. Every day here is like an eternity, but those dancers were incredible.
Yeah, it's such amazing beauty, the way that they were like presenting themselves. I think it's a really cool insight into the Raika tribe. That was the Raika tribe and their traditions. But we'll see more of them at Pushkar Camel Festival. We're going there next.
Remember to stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you on the road tomorrow in Rajasthan.
Namaste.